So release. Release is a distribution of the final version of an application to customers. So we usually do vast majority of testing before the actual release, right? Before it goes to customers. That's the whole point of having QAs in place. However, it doesn't mean that we never test anything after, or customers don't complain about some bugs. So for example, the Squidos, if you go to production environment to real environment where all the customers and providers work and make money, production will have a lot of issues and a lot of bugs, and we identify almost like 50 of them, right? So, and that's how it is. All the applications have bugs. Even Google or Amazon, they all have bugs in production. Usually they are not that high priority, so it's okay. It doesn't really block you from using the application, but that's another art of testing and deploying without major serious issues. But before we release the application, we usually work on multiple stories. So you can see here on this image, every square, like this yellow ticket, represents a user story. Then we work on those user stories for usually a couple of weeks. And then we do a release. Basically, it means that every story that we worked on needs to be, first of all, created by product owner, then worked on by developer, then by QA person. Hopefully it doesn't have major bugs, and sometimes they do. So you will need to return it back to development. You cannot accept that stuff. And they will fix it and they will return it back. So you retest them. And once it's ready, you put them kind of in before production stage. And then you work on multiple, and then at a certain point you say like, okay, so these are the stories that we are going to release. We usually release multiple stories at the same time. Most companies, they try to release after every single story, maybe a couple of times a day, maybe a few times a day, but it is very hard. It's very hard. So because of that, it requires a lot of automation. Most of the companies don't have that much and will never have. It doesn't make sense for them. So they release every a couple of weeks usually. So you may notice on your phone, sometimes you can find that you can like just unlock your phone and you will see some application being updated, right? So this is basically means that they released this application to production, and because you have like auto updates enabled, your phone will automatically download them. But it usually doesn't happen like every day. It usually happens like once 2 weeks or once a week or once a month, something like that, based on the release schedule.